Hey folks, Mike with Chasing Trail. Here we are. It is today? I think it's June 22nd. Thursday. I have the day off work today. A little warm, going to be about 85, but that is very mild for this time of year for us. Been a very mild June so far, so that's been awesome. Just decided to go for a ride today. I had planned to head up to Weaverville. Made it past Whiskeytown Lake, but they're doing road work and there was a huge line. It was down to one lane road. And there was a line of at least 50 cars coming past me while I sat in a line of 50 or so cars. And I just said, screw it, and I turned around. Sitting there in the sun, in my gear. It was warm, and yeah, I just didn't want to deal with that. So I turned around and just kind of cruising around. I'm on Bear Mountain Road right now. Stuck behind a bunch of cars, unfortunately. Gonna head out to Jones Valley. And then who knows? So with these bars, I did end up having to replace the stock mirrors. I went with these Kemimoto mirrors. There's a bunch of them. They're all the same mirror. They're all from China. They're just branded with whoever's selling them. They're 50 bucks. I like the Kemimotos because, whoa, look at that buck. Look at the horns on that sumbitch. That's a handsome animal. Big bastard. Glad I didn't smack into him. Anyway, I like the Kemimoto because they have black hardware. All the rest came with silver hardware. So down where it screws in underneath here, all black. And they work great, I can see. And I like that they're sort of low profile, not too obtrusive. I decided to experiment with my new windshield today, which is this Freedom Shields Sport 7-inch in dark gray. And so far I really like it. It's definitely quieter than stock. I know that because I can hear the music now. Even at freeway speeds, I can hear my music, and I may leave it on just because of that. I prefer the look of the stock, and the stock works fine for me. And I do like having less, like being able to just see out in front of me more, but I'll probably just interchange them depending on the day and the weather and all that, which is an easy enough process to do. Unless, of course, you are me, in which you'll find a way to fuck up even the most basic, simple of tasks, as I did Monday. So Monday I had taken the day off work to go for a ride because it was a high of 75. Absolutely beautiful day. I was all packed up, had all my gear on, was ready to go. At the last minute I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to try that new windshield today. This one, I had the stock on at the time. I'll just switch it real quick. So sure enough, I took off. There's just 3 little bolts. Pulled the stock one off, put this one on. Got the first 2 bolts on. Bolt 3 wasn't quite lining up. And instead of taking my time and undoing a couple of the other fairing bolts so it would shift a little bit, would have been no problem, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna get my tool here and we'll angle her in a little bit and we'll send her home. Turns out doing that into brass threads is a real dumb thing to do. And sure as shit, I completely stripped my threads out. This resulted in me entering into a fit of rage, stomping around my garage like a constipated rabid ape, swearing obscenities, and being truly, genuinely frustrated with myself. I was in a hurry and I fucked something up that didn't need to be fucked up. So then I had to come up with a solution. What I ended up doing was drilling out the brass threads. They're melted into this injection molded plastic. I believe that's what this is. But they're basically melted into that. So I drilled out the threads, filled the hole with some JB Weld epoxy, and then I got this little tool on Amazon. It's a small little thread insert tool. It's $13 and comes with some new brass inserts. And I drilled out a hole with a 5/16 drill bit into that epoxy and threaded in my new insert, and it worked. I'll post some pictures I took as I did it to show what that looked like, but thank goodness that worked. So the cost of this new fairing piece, $672. Crazy. Some wooden statues up there I'd never noticed before. I think I saw some titties. Cost of this nacelle piece, this little cover down here, $270. And I fucked mine all up. I cut big notches here, and on the sides. You can actually see where my Dremel tool slipped, and I cut a little slice in there. I mean, you wouldn't notice it unless I pointed out to you, but I notice it because I did it. Anyway, I had to make some modifications to this to get the wiring to work, the brake line and the clutch cable with these new bars. Speaking of the new bars, I have really mixed feelings about them. I love the way the bike handles with them, especially if I'm riding at a spirited pace. But I am still having issues with my hands going numb. And it's not the vibrations. I can't feel any vibrations to the bars right now. In fact, I have to think about, do I feel vibrations from the bike anywhere? I mean, maybe the tiniest bit through the bars. Yeah, I guess I feel a tiny bit, but I have to think about it. Maybe a tiny bit through the floorboards. I don't know. As big as this bike is, and the motor and V-twin and everything, it's really smooth. You'll be surprised. I was definitely surprised the first time I rode one. I expected it to shake and rumble, and it doesn't. It's very, very smooth, especially once you're moving. It rumbles a little bit at an idle if you're stopped, but as soon as you start moving, shockingly smooth. So I love the handling. I don't love my hands going numb. And the issue is the angle here. I know that's because I've tested it. If I hold my hands sort of awkwardly, which I don't want to fuck around on these turns, but if I hold my hands more so my wrist is not bending like this, they do not go numb. If I hold them like this, where it's pinching the inside of my wrist inwards, they will go numb. Not right away. It takes a little while, but it does happen. And as soon as I hold the bars like this, it goes away. So it's the sweep, it's the angle. These bars are too straight, and I have not yet decided if I'm going to try to swap them again or not. It is a real pain in the ass, and as I said, and expensive. And as I said, when I am like getting up on it a little bit and wanting to ride at a more spirited pace, these feel really, really good for riding that way. But if you're just cruising along on a longer ride, it becomes a problem. I'm probably just going to keep these bars on because honestly, I'm not going to keep this bike long term. I already know that. I don't keep any bikes long term, or haven't yet. And there are many aspects about this motorcycle I really enjoy, particularly that sound. And I'm really enjoying the experience of owning and riding it. But I know I won't keep it long term. In fact, I'll probably end up selling it this fall. What would I replace it with? Who knows? I never know. My interests wax and wane like the cycles of the moon. If I had to pick something right now, I would swap to an Indian Challenger. What the fuck is going on here? Guess they're just stopping boats. I ain't a boat. Let's go over here just and take a quick little gander at the lake. Beautiful.